What's happening, y'all? Welcome to SWAC Talk, man. It's a show. We cover the SWAC inside and out. Of course, I am your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells coming at you. And hey, I'm gonna get to the action this week. Uh, hit the socials, man. Check out the socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Uh, you love to, you like what you see, and you love to show some love and support and help the show continue to grow. You can drop a little bit of a donation off in the Cash App. That's $SWAC Talk. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share them, hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to anything that I drop. We're gonna still be doing SWAC Smoke. In case you hadn't heard, DJ had to step away due to his obligations with his new job at Alabama State. So I'm gonna continue the show. He'll still be popping in the comments, especially so y'all can still chop it up with him or hit him up on his socials. So he still will be there. I'll be doing different things with the show. Sometimes special guests like I did last week. Sometimes by myself. Just gonna try to switch it up and mix it up, and just gonna go from there. So before we get started, as you can see, I mean, hey, first and foremost, I wear this shirt a lot. I'm not even gonna front. I wear this shirt a lot, but the circumstances are different for this week. As you know, TSU they handled up on Southern this weekend, and hey, my boy Drake Sunners, he was like, man, you better have some TSU gear on. So hey, I got y'all, man. Lowe's J, the Body family, Andrew Body, Jack Nance, D Anderson. My unofficial kinfolk, although maybe I hope he is my kinfolk, Perry Wells, shout out to you, bro, for doing your thing. Coach McKinney for getting those guys ready. All the TSU fans and everybody, man, y'all salute to y'all, man. Straight up, no joke, no lie, man. Y'all did y'all business up in Arlington yesterday. I'm hurting, but I much respect. I got to give up the respect, man. You talk when you talk when you win. You got to talk when you lose. So I'm still here, and I know y'all gonna be coming for me or whatever. It is all love. I appreciate y'all even chiming in with me. So hey, keep on being locked in with me, and we're gonna keep on doing what we do. So I'm rocking the TSU today. I'm gonna have it on again on SWAC Smoke, so don't miss that. Just TSU took care of business. We're gonna talk about that game in a minute. Before we continue to go through our recap, I also want to shout out Alcorn, man. Much love to the Braves, man. Getting that McNeese monkey off your back. McNeese is now 1-12 against the SWAC. So salute to Alcorn. I know a lot of people wrote them off after the Tulane game, but that team is a good team. I'm going to continue to ride that team till they win the SWAC West, man. I've always said maybe I'm a little too high on Alcorn than a lot of other people, but hey, it feels good to be right this time, man. So at least something worked out for me. Salute to the rest of the SWAC teams who won this weekend. And everybody else, man, it's onward and on to the next one. So that's the beauty of SWAC football, man. You never know what's gonna happen from week to week. That's why I always tell people, man, the SWAC is crazy. You can see teams play much better than they should and win, and teams play much worse than they should and lose. You never know who's going to step up to the plate. You can't write nobody off after one game in the season because it can flip on a dime. So speaking of flipping on a dime, man, let's go ahead and jump to the first game I'm going to talk about, and I want to go ahead and get this one out of the way, man, because I'm hurting. I want to go ahead and be able to start my coping process. And this week I decided to put my predictions on the screen as well, so you see how I stacked up. I tend to be pretty close on some scores. Sometimes I'll be way off, but I kind of come out all right. This week I was pretty good. So TSU 24, Southern 0. Huge shout out, man. Oh, I was really hard on TSU defense this whole offseason, man. I said y'all the ones gonna have to step up for TSU to really be a contender. And man, did y'all ever step up in this game? I just, I got to give credit to that whole defensive staff, all those guys on that defensive unit. Man, y'all played lights out. Y'all had plenty of opportunities to let things slip away, but y'all kept control of that game, man. And registering a shutout against anybody is a huge thing. And that's coming from a team that gave up a lot of points this early season to turn around and pitch a shutout and force some turnovers and just play some good defense, man. I like what I see. So hopefully you guys can continue to grow and develop, and y'all gonna find yourself in the thick of this SWAC race. I mean, I've said it to my TSU people. I've said it on any show I've been on, so I'm gonna give the praise when I need to, and you guys definitely represent it, and you did your thing, man. It hurt to be on the other side, but at the same time, man, it felt good to watch y'all because it's like I'm like that's a unit that grew. So man, y'all continue to grow and grind and get better week in and week out, man. And you never know where we'll see y'all end up at. So let's talk about this game, man. I'm first and foremost on the Southern side. If you're a Southern fan, this game was eerily similar to 2018 Southern Prairie View. Southern went to Prairie View and shut out the Panthers, who were coached by Eric Dooley. That game and this game was similar in a lot of ways. A lot of interceptions by the quarterback. Just not a lot of, I don't want to say it want to, but just not a lot of execution by the losing team. It's just, the emotion just fell off. It's a similar game, man. And TSU had a lot to do with that. They jumped out early. Nice first drive. 10 plays, 65 yards. Andrew Body threw a 9-yard pass to AJ Bennett. They got the ball off of interception. They missed a field goal on that drive. The next drive they scored Ladarius Owens 1-yard touchdown run. 14-0 for a long time. Southern had their chances to get back in this game. Got stopped inside the one. Punt. Derek Morton, big 53-yard touchdown after another turnover on down. Southern got intercepted right before the half, so halftime scored 21-0. And honestly, I thought Southern defense kind of came around the second half. They fought, but the offense just could never get anything going. They tried to put together some drives, but they could never cash in. And then Richard Garcia kicked a 33-yard field goal for the final margin, 24-0. Let's look at some of the stats in this game. Stats were honestly pretty even. They were even. Total yardage 352 apiece. Southern ran 70 plays. They had 5 yards of play. TSU ran 66 plays, 5.3 yards per play. Southern had 3 interceptions. Those were the only turnovers in the game. Neither team fumbled the ball. TSU did not throw an interception. 10 penalties in the game, 7 for Southern, 3 for TSU. TSU 186 through the air, 16 of 22. Southern 163 through the air, 18 of 30. 3 interceptions, as I said. Southern 4.7 yards per carry, 40 carries, 189 on the ground. TSU 3.8 yards per carry, 44 carries, 166 yards. 18 first down for Southern, 19 for TSU. The stats and the score just do not align, and that's all because TSU defense made the plays when they needed to. Interceptions in the red zone, interceptions on the drive that Southern probably may have scored if they continued to drive the ball on that drive. Turnovers on downs, they rose to the occasion, and that's what a defense does. Everybody's not going to play JSU defense that just smashes you for 4 quarters. Although we'll talk about that effort yesterday, but a good defense would bend and not break, and they bent some and they did not break. Southern 5 of 14 on third downs. TSU 5 of 13 on third downs. 29 minutes, 28 seconds time possession for Southern, 30-32 for TSU. Southern was 0 for 4 in the red zone. 0 for 4 in red zone, 3 interceptions. That's your ball game right there. TSU was 3 of 4. That missed field goal probably could have extended the margin some. Southern 3 sacks, TSU 4 sacks. The stats are so similar, man. It's ridiculous. Statistically, this game shaped up to be a 1 or 2 point game. Southern just, through turnovers and lack of red zone execution, did not score. But Sean McCray, 18 of 30, no touchdown, 3 interceptions, 163 yards. He was sacked 4 times. Andrew Body, 16 of 22, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Southern was led by McCray with 95 yards rushing on 16 carries, Carl Ligon, 12 carries for 57 yards. Ja'Cory Howard led TSU with 9 carries for 42 yards. Andrew Body, 7 carries, 39 yards. Receptions, Chandler Whitfield led Southern with 6 catches for 94 yards. Derek Morton, big game for him. 6 catches, 108 yards. He's one of the top receivers in the conference right now. So y'all definitely keep an eye out on him, man. Keep a lookout on his name. I think he's going to develop into being Andrew Body's top target. He's 6 for 108 and 1 touchdown, including a 53-yarder. Corion Harris led Southern with 10 tackles. Jalen Campbell with 9. Trey Lang with 9. Lang also had 2 tackles for loss. Taj Brown, 2 tackles for loss. Lang had a sack. Lewis had a sack, and Campbell had a sack. TSU was led by Jacob Williams with 9 tackles. Tariq Cooper with 8. Vermontez Pippins with 6 tackles for loss. Akins 2. Fuller 1. Henderson 1. Anderson with 1. Cooper half a tackle for loss. Martinez a half a tackle for loss. Pippins and Williams also had a half a tackle for loss. Sacks. Akins with 2. Anderson with 1. Martinez a half a sack, and Pippins a half a sack. Interceptions went to Perry Wells, Cedric Williams, and Charles George. So, like I said, this was just a solid game for TSU, man. This is what when you're trying to take that next step, these are the kind of games that you need to take that next step. Now, obviously, you're not going to always have a shutout, but this was a very, 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 very good effort. I know you probably feel like you left some points in the second half because you didn't really score much, but to be able to stand on that 21-0 lead and not give up any points is just great football. So salute to TSU. Like I said, man, y'all got it done. And we'll see what y'all do in y'all upcoming games in the conference. The next game we're going to talk about is Austin Peay taking on Alabama A&M. The Governors won this game by a score of 28-3. As you can see, I said 34-20, so I was off on A&M by a good bit. Gave Austin Peay a few more points than they scored. But this game was a 7-3 game at the half. It took a 14-point fourth quarter for Austin Peay to put this game away. Victor Barbosa got the Bulldogs on the board first with a 30-yard field goal. James Burns caught a 58-yard pass for Mike DeLilio to give Austin Peay a 7-3 lead. That came with 2:16 in the first quarter, and that was our halftime score, 7-3. With 9 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the third quarter, DeLilio had an 18-yard touchdown run to put Austin Peay up 14-3. The next goal would come with 5 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the game. Trey Goodman caught a 13-yard pass from DeLilio. And then Austin Peay would close out the scoring with 3 minutes and 56 seconds left in the game when Antonio Williams ran a 60-yard scoop and score to make the final margin 28-3. First downs were even at 18 for both teams. 215 on the ground for Austin Peay, 45 carries, 4.8 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. 88 yards on the ground for Alabama A&M, 40 carries, 2.2 yards per carry. Austin Peay only threw the ball for 100 yards, so they got the job done on the ground. This was a team that was very, very volatile through the air, and I thought they would really, be able to work it through the air a lot. They threw the ball 22 times, so I think they decided that they were just gonna run more than they threw in this game. And they were 7 of 22 for 100 yards on the night, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then had 195 yards passing, 16 of 35, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 315 total offense for Austin Peay on 67 plays, 4.7 yards per play. They did fumble once and lost it. They had 8 penalties for 88 yards, 283 yards for Alabama A&M, 75 plays, 3.8 yards per play. 1 fumble, and they lost it, and they had 7 penalties for 67 yards. Time of possession, Austin Peay 25 minutes and 10 seconds, Alabama A&M 34 minutes and 50 seconds. 8 of 16 on third down for Austin Peay, 1 of 2 on fourth down, 4 of 14 on third down for Alabama A&M, 1 of 5 on fourth down. 5 fourth down conversions is probably way too many. 2 of 2 in the red zone for Austin P, 1 of 2 for A&M. Austin P had 5 sacks, Alabama A&M had 4. Individually, Mike DeLilio, 7 of 22, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked once. Xavier Langford, 15 of 33, 187 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. Quincy Casey, 1 of 2 for 8 yards, 1 interception, 1 sack. He threw the ball for 8 yards, as I said. C.J. Evans led Austin P with 18 carries for 76 yards. Mike DeLilio, 11 carries, 72 yards and a touchdown. Javon Jackson, 7 carries, 45 yards. Garrett Quarles, 23 carries for 83 yards for A&M. That's pretty much it for your rushing leaders for the Bulldogs. James Burns led Austin P with 3 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown, 2 catches and 19 yards for Trey Goodman and a touchdown. I hyped up Dre McCray, but they kept him to 1 catch for 1 yard. Ibrahim made his appearance this game, 5 catches, 74 yards. Isaiah Cox, 4 catches, 39 yards. Defensively, Joshua Rudolph led Austin P with 10 tackles. Doss and Williams each had 9. Sutton with 8. Tackles for loss, Doss with 3. 1.5 for Ruffin, 1.5 for Manning, 1.5 for Sutton. And Odom and Williams with 1. Young, Horton, and Rudolph each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks went to Sutton with 1.5. 1 team sack. Williams with 1 sack. Doss 1 sack. Ruffin a half a sack. Sutton forced fumble, recovery by Williams, return for 60 yards and a touchdown. Interceptions were by Ford and Simmons. A&M was led on defense by Saheed Holt and Charles Bell with 9 tackles apiece. Hester with 6. Douglas, Rice, Moses Douglas, Avian Rice, and Thomas Douglas all had 5. Tackle for loss, Williams with 2. Bell with 1. Young with 1. Rice with 1. Thomas Douglas with 1. Hester with 1. Benton with 1. Sacks went to Benton, and no interceptions on the night. Benton also had a forced fumble, and it was recovered by Clark. So this game was, kind of a upside down game in terms of the way I predicted it. I thought Austin P would probably have more of a passing attack. They ran the ball. A&M still has yet to kind of get it going on offense. They still have some things they're gonna have to work out. I don't know where they go from here. So they're just, they're gonna have to buckle down and try to figure out some things and get ready for SWAC play. So they had a brutal non-conference schedule. They came out of it 0-3, and now we'll see where they go from here, and just see how they progress. The next game we're gonna talk about, and we're not gonna spend a lot of time on this, but I was very close on this game. Honestly, I missed it by 1 point for UAPB. Oklahoma State 63, Pine Bluff 7. 28-0 first quarter score, 21-7 in the second quarter total, making the halftime score of 49-7. Oklahoma State would then score 2 touchdowns, 1 in the third and 1 in the fourth, to make the final margin. So just to run down the touchdowns, Braden Johnson got a 24-yard pass for Spencer Sanders to give Oklahoma State a 7-0 lead. Trace Ford, 15-yard punt return on a block kick, 14-0. John Paul Richardson, 10-yard pass from Sanders, 21-0. Johnson, 42-yard pass from Sanders, 28-0. Brennan Presley, 23-yard pass from Sanders, 35-0. Corey Black, 38-yard block field goal return, 42-0. Raekwon Prince caught a 15-yard pass from Skylar Perry to give Pine Bluff their only score, 42-7. Talon Shetron, 16-yard pass from Gunnar Gundy, 49-7. Kale Cabinets, 25-yard pass from Gundy, 56-7. And Ollie Gordon, a 53-yard run to wrap up the score for Oklahoma State, making them final margin 63-7. Statistically, Pine Bluff 13 first downs, Oklahoma State 26. 81 yards rushing for Pine Bluff on 31 carries. They had 2.6 yards per carry. Oklahoma State, 168 yards rushing, 27 carries, 6.2 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. Pine Bluff, 16 of 41 passing, 149 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Oklahoma State, 370 yards through the air, 25 of 38, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. Pine Bluff did not turn the ball over in this game. They had 1 fumble, but they didn't. They recovered it. They had 230 yards of offense on 72 plays, 3.2 yards per play. They had 3 penalties for 45 yards. Oklahoma State, 2 turnovers, 1 fumble, 1 interception. 538 yards on 65 plays, 8.3 yards per play. They had 2 fumbles, 2 penalties for 20 yards, so a very lightly penalized game in this game. Let's see. Moving on to third down conversions, 55 of 19 for Pine Bluff, 0 for 1 on 4th downs. They had the ball for 37 minutes and 35 seconds. Oklahoma State, 6 of 11 on 3rd down, 0 for 1 on 4th down, 22 minutes and 25 seconds time of possession. Pine Bluff, 1 or 2 in the red zone. Oklahoma State, 2 or 2 in the red zone. So all their scores came on big plays. The score is 63 points and only getting the red zone twice. That Pine Bluff defense just gave up too many explosive plays. Pine Bluff, 2 sacks. Oklahoma State, 4 sacks. Individually, Skylar Perry Jalen Macon led Pine Bluff with 5 catches for 5 completions on 13 attempts, 79 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Skylar Perry, 11 of 27 for 70 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Chancellor Edwards, 0 for 1 with a sack. Spencer Sanders, 13 of 16, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked once. Gunnar Gundy, 12 of 20, 128, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked once. Garrett Rangel, 0 for 2, no interceptions, no sacks. Johnny Williams, 5 carries for Pine Bluff for 18 yards. Kayvon Britton, 7 carries for 18 yards. Ollie Gordon led Oklahoma State with 3 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 21 yards per carry, 3 explosive plays, just a 53-yard run and a couple other runs. So he was bolstered by that 53-yard gain. Receptions, Kirsten Rogers, 1 catch for 32 yards for Pine Bluff. Kenji Lewis, 1 catch for 25 yards. Raekwon Prince, 3 catches, 24 yards. Javon Williams, 4 catches, 21 yards. Prince also had a touchdown. Braden Johnson, 4 catches for 86 yards for Oklahoma State. Brennan Presley, 3 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Stephon Johnson, 4 catches, 55 yards. John Paul Richardson, 3 catches, 45 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, Isaac Peppers led Pine Bluff with 8 tackles. Woods with 7. Sincere Jones with 6. Tackles for loss, Peppers with 1. Fleming with 1. Smith with 1. Ward with 1. Fleming and Peppers each had the sacks. Interception went to Seward. Forced fumble was by Peppers. It was recovered by Woods. Oklahoma State was led defensively by Lamont Bishop with 5 tackles, Kit Mason Cobb 4, Cam Smith 4, Williams 4, Kopinski 4, Kelly 4, tackles for loss. Cobb 2.5, Kopinski 2, Letu 1, Kelly 1, Ross 1, Asai 1, Lacey half a tackle for loss. Sacks, Kopinski with 2, Latu with 1, Cobb with 1. No forced fumbles and no interceptions. 2 block kicks, 1 by Sion and 1 by Ford. So basically this was what it was. No real surprises. In this game, Pine Bluff will move on and get ready for their next game, and we'll see how the Golden Lions continue to progress through the season. The next game that we will talk about is Delta State defeating Mississippi Valley by a score of 28-17. As you can see, I picked 21-14. Pretty close. Delta State basically dominated this game, especially in the first half. They had an 18-0 halftime score. They had a safety. Then Nick Herber had a 22-yard field goal for Delta State to make the score 5-0. Patrick Shegog, a 3-yard run. Extra point made it 12-0. and then 2 more field goals in the second quarter, one from 25 and one from 26 to make the score 18-0. Orlando Fernandez would get Valley on the board with a field goal from 23 yards. Withrow would catch a 53-yard pass from Shigard to make the score 25-3. Caleb Johnson would get a 3-yard touchdown run for Valley to make the score 25-10. Sylvester Campbell, 4-yard pass from Jamari Jones, 25-17. And then Herbert would kick a field goal from 32 yards to make the final margin 28-17. So Valley battled back in the second half, but they just couldn't get over the hump. That 18-point first half kind of did them in. 18 first downs for Delta State, 20 for Valley. 246 through the air for Delta State, 21-31. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Valley, much better through the air today. 213 through the air, 22-37. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 166 yards on the ground for Delta State. 4.4 yards per carry, 38 carries. 1 touchdown. Valley, 139 on the ground, 3.7 yards per carry. 38 carries and 1 touchdown. Total offense, Delta State 412 on 69 plays, 6 yards per carry, no fumbles, so they turned the ball over once. Valley 352 yards on 75 plays, 4.7 yards per play. They did fumble once and lost it. 6 penalties for Delta State for 40 yards, 7 for 101 for Valley. That'll kill you. That's a lot of drive killing penalties. That'll hurt you every time. 28 minutes, 53 second time possession for Delta State, 31-07 for Valley. 6 of 15 for Delta State on third down. Valley 7 of 16. Fourth down conversions, 1 of 2 for Delta State, 2 of 3 for Valley. 5 of 6 in the red zone for Delta State, 3 of 3 for Valley. Delta State 4 sacks, Valley with 3. Individually, Shigard 21-31, 246 for Delta State, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks. Jamari Jones, 17 of 25, 182 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 1 sack. He had a very good game for Valley. Maybe he'll be the guy going forward. We'll find out. Jelani Easton, 5 of 10, 31 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. TJ Goodwin, 0 for 2. Shigard led Delta State with 15 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Kelvin Smith, 10 carries, 39 yards. Alfonso Franklin, 7 carries, 35 yards. Caleb Johnson led Valley with 17 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. Jones, 9 carries, 39 yards. Thomas, 4 carries for 15 yards. Dante Myers led Delta State with 5 catches for 75 yards. Tremel Withrow, 2 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Rankin led Valley with 7 catches for 73 yards. Johnson, 2 for 37. Donald Johnson, 2 for 37. Caleb Johnson, 4 for 33. Rashard Eades, 3 of 24. 3 for 24. Stevenson led Delta State with 7 tackles. Barton with 7. Martin also had 7. Jones with 6. Tackles for loss. Martin with 2. Jernigan with 1. Jones with 1. Swill with 1. And Canada with 1. Sacks went to Martin with 2 and Canada with 1. No forced fumbles and no interceptions. That Valley was led by Ronnie Thomas with 12 tackles, 4 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. That's an all-SWAC dude, man. I know he was preseason, but this guy is putting up great numbers this season, man. Y'all keep your eyes on Ronnie Thomas. Big game for him. Lee has 6 tackles for Valley. Moffitt 5. Malcolm Johnson 5. Jones with 5. Banks with 5. Tackles for loss, like I said, Thomas with 4. Vic with 1. Martin 1. Jones 1. Alexander and Fox each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks went to Thomas with 2 and Martin with 1. Forced fumbles, none. Interception went to Alexander. He returned it for 10 yards. So, like I said, these are games that you need to win. I know Delta State's a very good D2 team, but you need to win these games. These are you can't drop these kind of games and expect to have a good season. So it gets tougher for Valley from here on out. They're in conference play. They had a tough non-conference slate. You went 0-3, so you're going in conference play 0-3, and you have to rebound quickly because your schedule does not get any easier from this point on. The next game we'll talk about is Incarnate Word traveling to Prairie View to take on the Panthers. The Cardinals got a 31 14 victory. As you can see, I said 31-21, so right around that range. A 20-7 score was your halftime score. Chafin caught a 6-yard pass from Lindsey Scott to get Incarnate Word on the field, on the board. Extra point was no good. Ahmad Antoine gave the Panthers a 7-6 lead with a 2-yard touchdown run. Grimes caught a 6-yard pass from Scott to make the score 14-7. Perez, 18-yard pass from Scott, made the halftime score 20-7. They also missed another extra point. Third quarter, Isaiah Robinson, 4-yard run for the Cardinals, 28-7. 2-point conversion was good. And then Sterner kicked a 35-yard field goal with no time left in the third quarter to make the score 31-7. And then Antoine would run a 1-yard touchdown run for Prairie View to make the score 31-14. 31 first downs for Incarnate Word, 11 for Prairie View. 208 on the ground for the Cardinals, 44 carries, 4.7 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. For the Panthers, 163 on the ground, 38 carries, 4.3 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. 283 through the air for Incarnate Word, 34 of 47, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. 59 yards for Prairie View passing, 4 of 16. No touchdowns, no interceptions. That passing game is so up and down. They're going to have to find a way to get that consistent. 491 total offense for Incarnate Word, 91 plays. That's a long time for to have your defense on the field for 91 plays. 5.4 yards per play. They did fumble once, but didn't lose it. 222 yards of offense for the Panthers. 54 plays, 4.1 yards per play, 2 fumbles. They lost them both. 5 penalties for 40 yards for Incarnate Word, 7 penalties for 56 yards for the Panthers. Third downs, 10 of 17 for Incarnate Word, 4 of 13 for Prairie View. 36 minutes and 17-second time possession for the Cardinals. 23-43 for the Panthers. 103 on 4th down for Incarnate Word, 101 for Prairie View. 5 of 7 in the red zone for the Cardinals, 2 of 3 for the Panthers. Prairie View had 2 sacks, Incarnate Word with 1. Individually, Lindsey Scott, 32 of 43, 272, 3 touchdowns. No interception. He was sacked twice. Steve Duncan, 2 of 4 for 11 yards and an interception. Channing Dumas, 2 of 13 for Prairie View for 37 yards. No touchdown, no interception, no sacks. Chris Heron, 2 of 3 for Prairie View, 22 yards. No interceptions, no touchdowns, and 1 sack. Isaiah Robinson, 14 carries for 93 yards and a touchdown for Incarnate Word. Jarrell Wiley, 16 carries for 92 yards. Antoine led Prairie View with 15 carries for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaged 6.1 yards per carry. Chris Heron, 7 carries for 50 yards. He averaged 7 yards per carry, so a good game for him on the ground. Stephen Grimes, 8 of 49 for Incarnate Word, 49 yards, 8 catches, 49 yards, 1 touchdown. McCullough, 3 catches, 38 yards. Cole Wilson, 3 catches, 38 yards. Jalen Campbell, 3 catches, 37 yards. CJ Hardy, 3 catches, 32 yards. Dylan Domel, 1 catch for 27 yards for Prairie View. Xavier Johnson, 1 for 13. Christopher Simmons, 1 for 10. Travion Jones, 1 catch, 9 yards. And that wraps up the receiving. Defensively, Kalichi, Angela Beachy. I hope I got that close to right. I told everybody I was gonna mess it up, and I did again. He had 5 tackles on the night. Ricky Rich, 5 tackles. Sam Latham, 5 tackles. Brandon Richard, 4 tackles. Richard, it's the South. Browse, Brian Mays, 4 tackles. Tackle for loss. Rich, 1.5. Latham, 1.5. Preston, 1. Kalichi, 1. Dante Thompson, 1. McKinney, 1. Bussy, 1. Parker, 1. Miles Adams and Richard Brandon each had a half a tackle for loss. Sack was by Bussy. Forced fumbles were by Preston and Maxwell. Recoveries also by Preston and Maxwell. Prairie View was led defensively by DeWarren Lewis with 11 tackles. Travion Green with 9 tackles. Stacy Brown with 9 tackles. Keyshawn Johnson with 9 tackles. Tariq Mulmore with 8 tackles. Presley with 7 tackles for loss. Jesse Evans, 2. Schenkel, 1. Hunt, 1. Lewis, 1. Johnson, 1. Marshall and Harris each had a half a tackle for loss apiece, along with Victorian and Rout. Also Carter and DeCurry, they all had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks went to Johnson, Victorian, and Carter each had a half a sack apiece. Forced fumble was by Johnson. Interception went to Lacey. So this is an explosive incarnate word offense. This actually was the 31 points was actually the lowest total that they scored this season. So Prairie, they were game, but that passing attack just was not there. If they could have had a better passing offense, they may have kept themselves in this game, but they were unable to do so. So, like I said, they'll pick up and move on to their next game following this. The next game we have is Alcorn 30, McNeese 19. Pretty similar on the predictions again. Alcorn had a 21-3 halftime lead after a 0-0 first quarter. Nico Duffy, 13-yard run. Jarvion Howard, 11-yard run. Monterio Hunt, 89-yard pass from Aaron Allen. Big drive or big one-play drive, 21-0 at that point. McNeese got a Garrison Smith field goal for 24 yards out. Halftime score 21-3. D'Angelo Durham, a 14-yard run for McNeese, 21-10. Noah Kiani, a 29-yard field goal for Alcorn, 24-10. Cameron Senegal, 21-yard pass from Knox Kadum for McNeese, made the score 24-17. Kiani, 27-17 off of a 38-yard field goal. McNeese would get a safety to make it 27-19. And then Kiani would kick another field goal from 21 yards out to make the score 30-19. So big road non-conference win for Alcorn. They almost had two non-conference victories, man. They were really close against Stephen F. Austin. Should have won that game. They should be sitting at 2-1 right now instead of 1-2. But they play some tough out of conference games. Regardless of how good or bad McNeese is this year, they've always found a way to beat a SWAC team. So Alcorn was able to go into the hole in Lake Charles and come out with a victory. 22 first downs for Alcorn, 18 for McNeese. Alcorn 215 on the ground. I said the running game would be the key, and it was 52 carries. Coach McNair believed that they needed to run the ball, and they ran the hell out of the ball. 4.1 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. 88 yards for McNeese. Great defensive effort for Alcorn. 32 carries, 2.8 yards per carry, 1 touchdown. 189 yards through the air for Alcorn. 15-27, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 260 through the air for McNeese. 16-33, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Alcorn 404 total yards of offense. 79 plays, 5.1 yards per play. They did fumble once and lost it. They had 3 penalties for 45 yards. McNeese 348 total offense on 65 plays, 5.4 yards per play. 2 fumbles, they lost 1. 8 penalties for 90 yards. Time of possession, Alcorn 32-58. McNeese 27-02. 5 of 16 on third down for Alcorn. McNeese 1 of 11. Great defense by Alcorn to keep getting McNeese off the field. Really, really good defensive effort. 1 of 1 on fourth down for Alcorn. 0 for 1 for McNeese. Alcorn 4 of 4 in the red zone. 2 of 3 in the red zone for McNeese. Alcorn 10 sacks. Damn, that defense was on point. 10 sacks on the night, man. Y'all, hey, that's a damn good effort right there. 3 sacks for McNeese. Individually, Allen, 15-27, 189, 1 touchdown, 3 sacks, no interceptions. Kadum, 16-33, 260 through the air, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, sacked 10 times. Leatherwood led Alcorn with 11 carries for 80 yards. Howard, 20 carries, 74 yards. Duffy, 14 carries, 61 yards. That's a nice 3-headed monster. 3 backs all over 10 carries. 7.3 yards per carry for Leatherwood, 3.7 for Howard, 4.4 for Duffy. 2 touchdowns, 1 from Howard and 1 from Duffy. McMahon led McNeese with 10 carries for 102 yards. Durham, 10 carries, 46 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, McNeese lost 80 yards of rushing, so that really set them back. Montario Hunt had the one catch for 89 yards for Alcorn. Rogers, 3 catches for 57, 5 catches for 70 yards. One Anthony, 2 catches, 11 yards. CJ Ballard, 3 catches for 70 yards, 7 yards. Mason Pierce, 5 catches for 80 yards for McNeese. Cameron Senegal, 2 catches, 47 yards. Deontay McMahon, 3 catches, 42 yards. Terrence Ellis led Alcorn with 6 tackles. Kinsler and Dawson each had 5. McCullum and Ross each had 4 tackles for loss. Dawson with 2, Ellis with 2, Bailey with 2, Ballard with 2, Jones with 1, Webb with 1, Rice with 1. Ross and Deere each had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks, Dawson 2, Ellis 2, Bailey 2, Ballard 2, Rice 1, and Ross and Deere each had a half a sack apiece. Forced fumble was by Melton, recovered by Kinsler. Interceptions went to McCullum and Woods. McNeese was led in by Cordell Williams with 15 tackles, Kinsey with 10, Lewis with 9 tackles for loss, Williams 2, Simeon, Maypew, Davey, Kinsey, Willis, Dalton each had 1 tackle for loss apiece. Sacks went to Simeon with 1, Maypew with 1, Davey with 1. Forced fumble, Williams, recovered by Enos, no interceptions. So great game for Alcorn. Defensively, they did a really good job in this game. They did not let this game go in the second half like they did in the Stephen F. Austin game. So they picked up a big victory. So really good win for Alcorn to get that non-conference monkey off your back. That's just a huge win. So great game for Alcorn. And the defense, 10 sacks, just a great effort for the team all around. Our final game of the night, which was my game of the week, Jackson State 66, Grambling 24. Was pretty off on this game. Had the right team, but the points were off by quite a bit on both teams. Grambling was in this game at the half. The halftime score was 21-17. Grambling, they gave up 2 touchdowns. They gave up 2 touchdowns early to Jackson State. A 2-yard run from Shador Sanders, a 3-yard run from Savion Wilkinson, made it score 14-0. Maurice Washington, a big 73-yard run for Grambling at the end of the first quarter, made the score 14-7. Grambling would then get a Brian Powell scoop and score from 17 yards out to make the score 14-14. Dallas Daniels would catch a 7-yard pass from Shador Sanders to make the score 21-14 at the half. 21-14. Gary Urban would get a 41-yard field goal for Grambling to make the score 21-17 at the half. Dallas Daniels, 28-yard pass from Sanders in the third quarter, 28-17. Jackson State would get a field goal, 31-17. Wilkerson would get his second touchdown on the night, 11 yards out, 38-17. Shador, another touchdown on the ground, 15 yards out, 45-17. Willie Gaines, 86-yard pass from Sanders to make the score 52-17. Daniels would catch another touchdown in this game, this time from 23 yards out, 59-17. Rash would get a 74-yard pass from Hawkins to make the score 59-24. And then Malachi Wideman would catch a 17-yard pass from J.P. Andrade to make the score 66-24. Jackson State. Grambling was game. First half, especially, they had a couple of turnovers that hurt them, but they made some big plays of their own and kept themselves in it, but they just couldn't, they couldn't consistently move the ball against Jackson State. 32 first downs for Jackson State, 10 for Grambling, 122 yards on the ground for Grambling, 5.3 yards per carry, 23 attempts, 1 touchdown. Jackson State, 216 on the ground, 44 carries, 4.9 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. 122 yards through the air for Grambling, 12 of 33, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jackson State, 25 of 36, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 412 yards. 244 total offense for Grambling, 56 plays, 4.4 yards per play, 2 fumbles, they lost them both. Jackson State, 628 on total offense, 80 plays, 7.8 yards per play, 3 fumbles, they lost all 3. Both teams had 10 penalties apiece. 67 yards for Grambling, 73 for Jackson State. 24 minutes and 51 seconds time of possession for Grambling, 35-09 for Jackson State. 2 of 13 on third down for Grambling, 0 for 1 on fourth down. 7 of 13 on third down for Jackson State, 1 of 1 on fourth downs. Grambling did not get in the red zone. They both their offensive touchdowns were explosive big plays. Jackson State was 7 of 7 in the red zone. Grambling did have 3 sacks. Jackson State had 1 sack. Individually, Grambling was led by Hawkins, 12 of 30, 122, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked once. Calvez, 0 for 3 on the night, no touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Sanders, 21 of 31, 357 through the air, 4 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, no interceptions. Andrade, 4 of 5 for 55 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, no sacks. Washington, 3 carries for 78 yards. I don't know if he got hurt banged up in this game, because after that 78-yard run, he did not get another carry on the night. That's kind of odd to me. So I don't know. Maybe if he got banged up, could y'all Grambling folks let me know? Because I think that guy could have been a difference maker for your offense. You know, an explosive play like that, you know, he probably could have followed it up with a couple other nice plays. 26-yard average on the 3 carries. Chance Williams, 7 carries, 24 yards. Wilkerson, 23 carries for 141 for Jackson State, 2 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. Martin, 4 for 28. Sanders, 9 for 22, also 2 touchdowns. Rash led Grambling with 4 catches for 97 yards. Washington, 3 for 23. Gaines, 2 for 89 for Jackson State, 1 touchdown. Daniels, 5 for 85 and 3 touchdowns. Coleman, 3 for 54. Lewis Matthews led Grambling with 10 tackles. Reed with 9. Dagry with 6. Turner with 5 tackles for loss. Turner, Matthews, and Powell each had 1. Sacks went to Turner, Matthews, and Powell. Forced fumble was by Matthews and Dagry. Recovery by Powell for a touchdown. Jackson State was led by Aubrey Miller with 9 tackles. Warren with 4. Huggins with 4. Gaddy with 4. Sacks went to Miller, Davis, and Gaddy. They each had 1 apiece. Tackles for loss, Miller, Davis, and Gaddy, they each had 1 apiece. Sack was by Gaddy. Forced fumbles were by Gaddy and Warren. Recoveries by Wiggins and Williams. And interceptions went to Craig and Salgado. So, you know, like I said, Grambling, you know, they were game in the first half. They had that 14-point spurt and tied the game up at 14, but Jackson State marched back down the field and scored, and Grambling just could not continue to move the football effectively against Jackson State. So this was a game that was a little bit more high scoring than a lot of people thought, but Jackson State basically controlled that game. It was just a couple bursts of plays for Grambling that allowed them to stay in the game, but consistently they could not match up with Jackson State, and that did them in. Just a quick look at the week 4 schedule, which we will recap on Wednesday. Texas Southern is at Texas San Antonio. That's a 2:30 kickoff. Valley is at Jackson State. That's a 1 p.m. kickoff. Grambling is at Bethune-Cookman. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff. Alabama A&M is at Florida A&M. That's a 5 p.m. kickoff. Prairie View is at Alabama State, also a 5 p.m. kickoff. Pine Bluff is at Alcorn. That's a 6 p.m. kickoff. So Southern's the only team that's off in conference play this week. They need it. They need to they need to get themselves back together and regroup and get ready for the rest of the conference play. So 5 conference games this week. Texas Southern's the only team that's stepping out of conference. So, you know, full week of SWAC football. So we're going to cover all these games next week. Quick look. I don't know which game I'm going to pick as my game of the week for this game. I'm going to probably take a little while to figure that out, because most of these games aren't like crazy hyped up. But, you know, I'll pick one for y'all. And that's going to do it for today's show. Like I said, this was an interesting show to wrap up the week. SWAC football, can't beat it. And that's it, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, hit those socials, And like I said, if you want to show a little love to the show, hit the Cash App, $SWAC Talk. It'll all be much appreciated. And that's gonna do it for us. We'll catch y'all on Wednesday for our week 4 preview, and then SWAC Smoke on Thursday, and week 4 recap on Sunday. So we'll see y'all around, and y'all have a good weekend and a good start to your week. And we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.